Welcome to another edition of Cambridge InsideOut. My name's Robert Winters.
And I'm Judy Nathans.
And today is Tuesday, March 15th, the Ides of March. So beware if your name is Caesar.
Right, Ides of March, right. Many reasons to beware.
And if you're Brutus, is it Brutus or Bluto? No, it's Brutus.
Yeah, Bluto is a comic strip.
Watch out for the Roman cops. They'll find you. They'll get you.
Yes, big goings on in our little city and around the country. But let's start with.
Start local here.
Local.
In dear old Cambridge, Massachusetts, we seem to be having a rather festive time with our local high school basketball team.
Yes.
The Cambridge or CRLS Falcons.
Cambridge Falcons, right.
Cambridge Falcons. Was it Saturday?
Saturday they played the Division I North title with Lowell.
Right. Do you know where that game took place?
Yeah, I was there.
Where is it?
Hello.
Oh.
North in the boonies, as I like to say, North Andover High School.
North Andover.
Just this huge campus.
Yeah.
Yeah. We had to park in the assisted living parking lot across the street and not get towed.
There you go. Anyway, that was, I don't know what the sort of the ebb and flow of that game was, but
it was pretty exciting. Well, no, this one was more exciting.
Right.
But anyway, yeah.
But so in the end, Cambridge managed to win the Division I championship by
Division I North, right?
Division I North
right.
championship.
Yeah.
By a 54-38 score.
Yes.
So they won pretty handily in that one.
Yes.
And then
they went to the Garden last night.
Or as we like to say around here, the Garden.
Yeah, TD Garden, right?
The TD Garden.
Which is unbeknownst to me, because I wasn't following this last year, which you probably weren't either. They did go last year and face the same team, Catholic Memorial, and lost by a couple points, apparently. So
I did see something today either on Facebook or
referring to that, because I didn't know that.
Like the rematch.
Rematch, exactly, but also colored by all this controversy over Cathedral Memorial's taunts.
Catholic Memorial.
I know, I keep saying, sorry.
It was Newton North?
Newton North. They played on Saturday, and some slurs. I'm sure people have heard about it. It's been covered everywhere.
Right. We were just talking before how they covered all of the controversy.
And didn't even mention the outcome of the game.
They didn't even mention that there was a basketball game.
Yeah. So, anyway, it was great. We won, and on to Springfield. I'm not sure where, but and it's hard to find information. It took me forever to find information for Saturday's game, and I complained to Fred Fantini, who I saw at the game on Saturday, and I said, we need to play this up a little more.
Actually, I was getting updates on Twitter.
Oh, you were?
About the game on Monday.
Oh, you
last
were?
Night,
okay.
Right. So
Twitter followers, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people. Mark McGovern, City Councilor,
I saw
Vice Mayor.
him. He came. He said it was a light agenda last night.
Right,
Is that true?
No, I saw Mark at the end of the meeting, and I said, "So, where are you off to?" And he says, "Going to the game."
Right. I saw him. Yeah, gave him a high five.
So, so there was. We're very well represented by.
Yes, Fred was there. Richard Harding. There might have been some other people, and then Steve Buckley, who is Cambridge native, right?
Cambridge native, you bet. So, and I was watching the scores, and this was not a blowout. This was
touch and go. I mean, we were ahead most of the time,
but then for a while they did something like a 16-2 run.
Yeah, I mean, it was amazing.
Catholic Memorial was up, and then it was like with a minute and a half to go.
It was tie score. Yep.
73-73, and then there were, I guess, a couple of layups in the last minute or so.
Yeah, it was just amazing, well, I can't. Anyway, my daughter took some of the photos that we're going to maybe show a little bit of, but she also did some video of that last minute and 48.
Oh, really?
Did a short video and put it on Vimeo.
Oh, wow.
Which we'll show that another time. But it's very funny, and she put titles, and she showed that last minute and a half.
Yeah. So anyway, it was really exciting. I have to say, and we're going to get to the pictures. Actually, we should get the pictures right now. But one thing I would say right now is that as a person who was not born and raised in Cambridge,
right,
I was sort of trying to channel the energy of native Canterburidgians who went to the high school.
That's right.
And just to understand the excitement they were feeling, because I was seeing images.
Yes.
Also, people like Anthony Galluccio just thrilled.
Yes.
Mark McGovern, Dennis Benzan.
Okay, they were all there.
Harding.
Yeah.
I don't know if every one of them was.
Well, they may have been. I just noticed the ones that were right. Yeah. Oh, Jeff Young was there,
Fantini.
Superintendent of Schools.
Yeah, and it was. You kind of feel the excitement.
And you know what I saw? I don't know if we have a photo of it, but a lot of people in the audience were wearing. They had shirts shirts made that said, "I'm just a kid from Cambridge." Now, the Cambridge looked like it could be another city, so maybe it's an outfit that does. But it was great.
Yeah.
Because they were older people that probably had gone to the high school.
It's an old person wearing.
Yeah.
I'm just a kid from Cambridge.
Yeah. It was a great crowd. A nice crowd.
Actually, there's a poem by Oliver Wendell Holmes. I guess it must have been senior, not the jurist, called "I Am a Cambridge Boy."
So there's two of them?
Yeah, it was Oliver Wendell Holmes, senior and junior.
They're related.
Father-son, and Junior was the Supreme Court Justice, one of the most significant Supreme Court justices ever.
Oh my goodness!
And his father was
a
poet and just general.
Wow.
He had other distinctions, author, poet.
Interesting.
Yeah, a pretty strong family line there.
And where are they from?
Cambridge. I'm a Cambridge boy.
I better do some studying.
Yeah. Actually, when we go up, I take people through walks through the
Mount
Auburn Cemetery. There's the Holmes plot.
Okay.
I don't know if they're both there. I think just the elder Holmes is buried there. I'm not 100% sure about that.
Interesting.
So
so just go there and we could shoot some of these. These are from.
So we're going to show a few images that were taken by.
Did you say I can just hit it and then that's I can't pronounce his name, but he's a nephew of the coach. Dot number 5. He might be the point guard.
Okay.
I think. Okay.
You can just click on these so you can actually.
Oh, good. And then we've got.
We'll linger on them a little bit here.
Yeah, just great shots. These are all from Saturday night.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was really kind of neat. I want to get to know these people.
Go to the game.
No, I'm inclined to do that now.
Yeah, look at this shot,
these guys are really, really working hard here.
Right. Yeah, I love that one. That's a great shot.
Yeah,
Daniel Reimer. Yeah, he was,
Yeah, you sort of definitely get the impression that some of these guys have a potential to go places.
Yeah, there's a lot of juniors and seniors. You want me to slow down here?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
All right.
I'm remembering back when I first came to Cambridge some years ago. I mean, I think Cambridge the boys basketball has actually been pretty good for a very long time. But when I was, first around here, I came here in 78.
Yeah.
It was not that long afterwards that it was when Patrick Ewing was the big superstar from Cambridge.
Yes. In fact, I have a question because there's somebody on this team named with the last name of Ewing.
See there was somebody,
but I have no idea. So if anyone knows, let Robert know.
Yeah, I saw that as well. It was actually Terrence Ewing.
I mean, he's not a starter, I don't think, but
right, but he's a senior. But I just sort of may very well be in the family.
All right, that's Lowell. They try. I mean, they were trying, and they had a good overall record for the season, but they were never that close.
The looks on some of the other players.
Oh
faces.
Yeah, I know.
So again, this was Saturday's game, so Cambridge won pretty handily.
This is a 6'8" player on Cambridge.
He's 6'8", really?
Yes, I think that's number 1. Is that? Yeah, I think that's.
If that is indeed number 1, so that would be Damon Carrigan.
Yeah, I went to it. Yeah, there'll be another pic. Oh, I'm sorry. There we go.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well, that's towards the end there.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me go back up here.
Alrighty.
Yeah, this is, number 30.
Number 30, who is Malik
Poirier. Okay.
Yeah. And,
all right, Daniel Reimer, number 30, yeah.
Yeah, so the whole
Aiden Kafer. Okay, number 22. You see that kid behind the 30?
Sure.
He did some amazing takeaways right before that last couple minutes that got it was amazing. He just got in there, got the ball twice.
Yeah.
So, and then this is number 3, Jaden George. I love the names. Jalen, Jaquet,
Yeah. By the way, the names that I've got here were taken off of a
very
site
nice of you to put the names.
That I just sort of Googled
I saw
around.
that.
So
yes.
I can't vouch for the absolute accuracy of the spellings, but so it's really on them because
all right.
I'd like to get to know who these folks are.
Yeah.
Don't necessarily
know. Some of them are seniors, so you're not going to get to know them.
The coach's name is Lance Doughton.
So this is the nephew.
This is the nephew of the coach?
That's what I heard. Yeah.
Doughton is a major name in Cambridge.
I know. When I moved here, I think that's all I heard about.
Very significant family in the city.
Here are the kids leading on. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I have to say one thing is that not to be kind of strange about this here, but if these kids were at a Trump rally, people would immediately be saying that they were giving this politically incorrect salute, right?
Good point.
Yeah. Actually, because I noticed there were a couple of images where they have a certain kind of salute that they were given, where they extend
There's something about that. Well, no. Well, at the Garden they say put your hands up.
Yeah.
There's a whole thing. Put your hand, and then they take photos of the crowd.
All right.
Yeah, with this talking fish. It's weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's just quickly go through. That's a nice dunk.
Here.
Yeah.
So is that the 6'8" fellow who's
the one before? No, it is not. No, here's the 6'8" fellow. I'm pretty sure that's number one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. 6'8".
Yeah, 6'8". Look at that. Yeah. Quite
Definitely.
a reach. There's Lance in the background there. Yeah.
Alrighty.
All right, and then so
another thing I was doing as I was looking through some of these images earlier today was just recognizing some of the people in the crowd.
Oh, really?
Well, not too many.
Yeah, maybe back there you could see some. Yeah, that's a nice shot. I think my daughter should share these with the Lowell team, don't you? Because there's some nice pictures of their team.
Definitely.
So she might do that. She did that at the football game with Somerville.
You know, one of the things, this is maybe one of the distinctions between those who were born and raised here and those who came from elsewhere.
Yeah.
Is that if this is like almost like small town news, right?
So sorry about that.
So if you're watching small town news,
right.
The team, the people in the city will rally around their local high school basketball team or football team. That's not the type of thing that typically, some of us who follow city council affairs.
That's true. We don't really tend to do that in Camp. I don't know why. Maybe it's because there's other things going. There's Lance.
We did.
Nice picture of Lance. You go, Lance. He's been there for years, I've heard.
Yeah.
As coach, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Actually, you can just click on these two.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
That is a friend of my daughter's brother. His older brother. And there, I think they realize they're going to win.
No, this must have been at the win, because if you look up on the clock, I think when I
it's 0-0, right?
This must have been pretty much.
You're right. And there you go. They're pretty elated.
Yeah, and as I was looking at these, I started trying to kind of get into the feeling.
Yes.
Exists not just for the players, but also for all the people who were at the game.
Yes.
Just the absolute thrill of it all.
Yes. Yep. It was nice. And then I think the last image, I think, is of them holding the trophy, if we can get it. Oh, there's the crowd. That's the kids in the crowd.
Definitely. And as I was looking, trying to see something. Now, there's one fellow up there.
Oh, yeah? With the red?
I'm just going to say this one guy, he's a little bit balding. He's up there sort of toward the upper right. It's Michael. You just pressed over.
Right here?
No. Down to the left. Right
here.
There you go.
Okay.
That's Michael Whitey Daniluk.
You know that,
Oh,
huh?
I know Whitey for ages.
Interesting.
He's actually a Cambridge police officer.
Oh, that's so cool.
And he works with the kids up at...
All right.
I was about to see, up on Ridge Ave.
Okay.
And elsewhere. I mean, really, for a lot of activities.
Yeah.
Whitey's great.
Great.
Known him a long, long time.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I thought these were wonderful. Just getting.
Yes, I love that one too. Of all the kids getting in there.
Everybody sort of piling on.
Yeah.
Here,
And here's this last one. This is the one I love because this is where they're holding the trophy.
Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah. And of course, I did it wrong. There you go.
Yeah.
And that's the Division I North.
There's actually one more
is there?
holding the trophy up here too, or maybe even another.
Well, there you go.
There you go. There's the Division I North
there
trophy
you go.
right here.
So, like I said, so go, it is in Springfield. There's the roster.
Yeah, this is what I found off of the, it really makes you kind of want to know who these folks really are.
Yep.
One of the sad aspects is not actually being born and raised.
Now, there are a lot of not a lot. There's a lot of juniors. So this team was good last year. It looks like they're going to only lose, let's see, 1, 2, 3. Well, they are going to lose. Oh, you got him twice there. He's so good that you put him down twice.
No, I didn't put it in. This is what I say.
I know that site's not so great. I went to that. I know. You're right. You're right.
So the thing is that any of the names that I put under the photos were really based on.
So they're only going to lose 3 seniors then. So that maybe not is too bad.
Yeah. So.
Oh, and look, they must be brothers. There's a Jordan and a Jalen that have the same last name.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Anyway, so actually, if you click on that, we'll go one more.
Oh, of course, that's my favorite. Yes.
Now this photo here, this is Freddie Fantini, Steve Buckley.
Sorry. Yeah, I know. Just click it on again. There you go. Just trying to get it bigger.
And Richard Harding from the Cambridge School Committee, actually 2 members of the Cambridge School Committee surrounded by Steve.
That's right.
Steve, as we say, is a native Canterbridgean.
Yes, he does the old-timer.
And he does the old-time baseball game every fall. Salt of the earth.
Great. Wonderful.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, anyway. So Yeah, if you call, there's a sports hotline number on the school athletic website. That's the only way I found out anything, frankly.
Right.
But
do we know when the next?
It's March 19th is the final. There's like 4 finals, like Division 1, 2,
right.
3, and some are being played today at the Garden that are other, because there's like divisions all over the state. There's North, South, West, Central.
Yeah.
And then they're all playing semifinals. So we play the winner of whoever is playing tonight.
Right.
Putnam and St. John's. I don't know where they're from.
Yeah.
Somewhere out there.
Out there. Right.
And that's Saturday night, I think at 7:30, and I think it's in Springfield. I'm not sure where, but if you call the sports hotline, I think you'll find out.
So let's have a good representation of Cambridge people out there to root for our team.
That's right. It was pretty filled. I remember going there in 2002 when my daughter was a freshman because the girls won the state final.
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
I remember that it happened.
Yeah, they ran through Cambridge on the way back on the buses. It was great. So
Actually,
that was
I do remember that because I could hear this hooting and hollering on the
because they went back to the high school right near where you live.
Yeah. I live not too far from the high school, so
I don't think they've won any tournaments, the boys or girls, since then. But I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure So that's 14 years.
Well, let's wish him lots of luck.
Let's wish him lots of luck. All right.
It's a great thing.
And one last thing. The only thing I could see that really gave credit to it, this was on the front page of the sports section of the Globe.
Yeah.
And it says, "In the moment," and it's all about us, which is nice because everybody else just talked about the controversy.
That's right.
So let's go on to what else has happened. Some big news.
Yeah, real big news.
Yeah.
I was in various past programs we sort of talked about the matter of the renewal of a contract or contract extension for City Manager Rich Rossi.
Right.
And a lot of us were really hopeful that would happen. But I guess I should have known just from now in retrospect.
Oh, why it wasn't.
I would talk to Richie over since last year, and actually just a week or two before the deadline, actually a few days before the deadline for contract extension, the deadline when the city council had to inform the manager of their intentions. And Richie would be, he wasn't evasive, but he would say somewhat cryptically, says, "I'm going to be a happy man no matter what."
Ah, that is a cryptic.
And, as opposed to, I'm really looking forward to the next 2 or 3 years.
Right. Right.
So I should have read into that maybe a little bit more. So anyway, it was, the big announcement was on Friday.
It was a special meeting, right? Or a subcommittee?
It was a scheduled meeting of the Government Operations Committee. So the City Council had expressed its desire to enter negotiations for another contract, but the manager had not yet expressed his interest.
I see.
Nor was he obliged to under the current contract.
Right.
So the Government Operations Committee meeting was held on this past Friday.
And was he invited to that?
Oh, yeah, of course.
I see.
Yeah, and what was, I think there were some people who were not in the know who showed up there, one person holding a sign, protesting the evils of the Plan E charter.
Oh, my goodness.
There were other people, sort of what we often refer to as the usual suspects, were there, I think, primarily to sort of, express their displeasure.
With Rossi?
Yeah. Well, they're just displeased at everything.
Okay.
But anyway, some of us knew because Richie gave me a phone call the day before and just said, don't
put this on your website.
Don't post it or anything like that. But I want to let you know because we've known each other for over 20 years. And so he alerted all the department heads, individually called up everybody. So a lot of the departments had a lot of people actually work within the departments didn't know yet. But
interesting. So some department head, but not the counselors, or what about the mayor?
He called every single one of the city councilors in the days leading up to Friday, tipping them off of his intentions, and then he announced that he was not going to seek a contract extension and would retire at the end of the contract term, which is June 30th. June 30th. Now, when he made the announcement, he also indicated that if the city council had not yet settled on a city manager, though they do have the option of appointing as a temporary measure any assistant city manager. Essentially, major department heads could serve legally as city manager.
So, i.e. Lisa Peterson could do it.
As a deputy city manager, Lisa Peterson could do it, and but she's not the only one who could do it. And historically, there's at least one incident I know of a department head stepping in and serving for 6 months. I believe it was 6 months as city manager. That was Ralph Dunphy, who was Ralph Dunphy Senior. Who was had been Commissioner of Public Works later on. I mean, it's confusing because years later, his son Ralph Butchie Dunphy was also Public Works Commissioner.
Wow, so many father-son things.
Well, you know, Cambridge. I've explained this to people sometimes and say, there may be a city of 100,000 people or more than 100,000 people, but at the core of it, there's still this little village. With a lot of families who've been here for generations, and it's not at all surprising that you would see multi-generational involvement and people who,
kind of nice.
If your father worked for the city, your son or your daughter might actually work for the city. It becomes a much more rational career choice.
Especially if they had a 3 family, then they could move in.
Yeah, exactly.
Otherwise, it's hard to.
But Ralph Dunphy served as city manager for a time until another city manager was chosen. So anyway, I'm actually pretty grateful and had a very nice chat with Richie leading up to it. I have to say I was kind of disappointed, but not disappointed in the sense that I was, like, darn you, Richie, how now?
Right, it's not like he was 55,
No, Richie's been at it for a long time. He's up for 60s, and he deserves a good retirement, and he's decided to do that.
Good.
And the city, I think, will be in great hands regardless. It'll be interesting to see how it plays out, though.
Yeah. What are your what's the word?
My prognosis?
There's a word that's very difficult to say. What do you see happening?
As I gaze into my crystal ball. Well, let me say this, and this is certainly a topic we'll continue into the second half hour tonight, because it's really huge news. The way I see it is that there will be some members of the city council, to some degree all of them, who will want to do what I've jokingly referred to as the intergalactic search for the ideal city manager.
Like really spread it out.
Right. Now, there's some logic in casting a wide net and trying to find really great.
Because that hasn't happened in the last 50 years, right, or something? Didn't they all come from a previous connection, or?
There's never been, as David Marr pointed out at the Government Operations Committee, there's never been a full-blown super search for the city manager. They thought about doing it a few years ago when Bob Healy was retiring, but it never really came to fruition. Generally what has happened is that city councils talk to each other, they get to know of a candidate. It often is done somewhat privately because the manager to be may already have a job elsewhere, and you don't necessarily want to publicize the fact that
that's a good point.
The manager to be is from one city is thinking of jumping ship. So it's a little delicate, and how that jives with things like open meeting laws is actually a little bit
tricky.
Unclear. So you kind of hope there's a certain public quality to this process, but not so much. I mean, what I've said to several of the city councilors, and I'll say it publicly 100 times over, is, we made our choices as citizens and voters last November. We elected 9 people, and the number one job we elected them to do was to choose a city manager.
Right.
So I'm grateful that they're willing to listen to the public and to take advice and whatever, but it's not the public's decision.
No,
we hired them to. If there was nothing else we elected city councilors to do other than to make one decision every several years, namely to hire a city manager, then that would be the decision. That's the one primary thing we elect city councilors to do. So it's on them. It really is. Now. So is there going to be a big process? I imagine there will be a big process, and to some degree I hope there is, because I think we should sort of look far and wide. But on the other hand,
they have to post it, right?
Oh, it'll be publicly posted, absolutely.
And aren't internal candidates considered first? Or
I don't know about whether it's first. That's something for the Government Operations Committee to decide upon. My personal inclination is that I would rather have a city manager who is very familiar with this city.
Yes.
Now, that doesn't necessarily mean somebody who's currently a city manager in the city's employ.
They could have grown up here and maybe moved. Or
yeah, just somebody who's got a really, really strong familiarity. I think the notion of having a city manager spending 2 years just getting to know the city.
And also the system, because it is different. It is a city manager. It's not mayor. It's not, we have a whole different kind of way of functioning,
Right, but the manager is sort of the primary person. The manager runs the city.
Right.
The city council develops policy, but the manager runs the city.
But they have to kind of understand and be open to that, because that's different than, say, just a straight out elected mayor that feels they can make all the decisions.
Now, I wouldn't be at all surprised if there was a councilor or two would want to have a manager who was as pliable as putty.
Oh, of course.
So that, in fact, the city councilors would be micromanaging the city through a relatively weak manager. I don't know that that's such a good thing.
No.
And I've also pointed out repeatedly, one of the most important functions of a city manager is actually not to implement wonderful, wonderful things that the city councilors suggest, though that's certainly a part of the deal. It's actually knowing how to say no to city councilors. And I worry that we end up with somebody who just says yes, yes, yes to everything, and next thing you know, the city's financial position is not as rosy as it has been for some years. So,
but they're not the only ones they have to answer to, though. I mean, they have to answer to their own departments, right? And their physical.
Sure. But it'll be a big process, and just so people know, we'll talk a little bit more about it in the next half hour, but the next step in the process is, I think is it Wednesday, March 23rd?
It's a week from this Wednesday?
I think it's a Wednesday.
Yes, it is, because tomorrow's the 16th.
Yeah, and on the 23rd at, I think, 10 a.m. to noon is the next meeting of the Government Operations Committee. And that's the prime order of business. So for those who are interested, if you're... And
that's an open, you can go to that.
These are all open meetings. There may be
What time is that? You said 11 again?
10 a.m.
Oh, 10 a.m.
10 a.m. to noon, I believe.
At City Hall.
At City Hall, Sullivan Chamber. Normally, the Government Operations Committee meetings have been held in the Ackerman Room, which is much smaller. Anyway, we'll come back to this shortly, but we're down to our last few seconds here. So until 3 minutes from now, this has been Cambridge Inside Out.
See you.